Well, good morning, guys and girls, and welcome back to the channel. We're on Meredith Bay, not a really top secret spot, but we're trolling for salmon and lakers. I just saw a bunch of boats kind of take off, so I'm gonna troll in here for a little bit, and then I'll go take off out there. I usually try to follow the boats because I have no idea what I'm doing this early in the spring. So if you know what you're doing and you want to come out in the boat and you have a weekday available, come on out and show me how it's done, because I got no freaking clue what I'm doing here early in the spring. I'm going exactly 1.5 miles an hour with the Happy Troller troll plate. I'm just at idle with the Evinrude, and I'm dragging one of my baits on that side with lead core, and I'm dragging a silver on one side and then orange with black dots on that side on the surface. Not super far back, but far enough. And I got live scope, and I have a new live scope today that I can actually record my screen, so I might switch over to jigging at some point. You guys know I do that because I like to sharpshoot fish, not roll around on their head lazy daisy like this. Yes, finally. Yes. Woo! Finally. Finally a laker. Not very big, but that's Winnipesaukee for you. Oh, stop. First one of the day, guys. Not a very big one, but he's going right back in. There's definitely one down there, guys. Not sure where he just went to, but... Ooh. Oh, come on. Oh, where'd you go? Oh no, there he goes right back down. It's infuriating. That was cool to see. I can sync these two together finally. Oh, here he comes. Oh, he came screaming for it. He's big too. Dang, he's gone. That fish was fired up though. The second lake trout I've seen in this area where it's kind of like a point, but I'm not really on the point. I'm off the point a little bit, not on the ledge of things, I guess, if you want to call it that. So ledge and then a flat. They seem to be more on the flat, which is normal for a Winnipesaukee lake trout to kind of do that. They'll be cruising the flats, looking for food. So all the little fuzz there on the bottom is smelt, and where there's smelt there's lake trout. So I am just going to, what's called the stock, I'm going to sit and wait for a lake trout to come through. So just my gas motor has made those smelt kind of flatten out as I cruised over the top of them, which is not good. But what we want to see in the next couple minutes here is a lake trout to come through and scoop these guys up. This is the reason why I've been saying all these lake trout have been glued to the bottom. It's because the smelt have been pushed to the bottom. They flatten out. They're harder to see when they're completely flat to the bottom. Compared to a school that's like spread out in the water column, they can just kind of crash right through them. Fortunately, my boat is swinging. And if you're on a really good bite, you want to be just off that bait because you want to intercept the predator before they get to the bait, because they're going to want to eat that instead of the fake artificial food. And even me dropping my jig down there just spooked them, so that's kind of crazy. So there's fish around if they're squished to the bottom. I've seen them where they're completely stacked up, and the only reason they do that is they're not being chased. And they've kind of disappeared, which either means they're kind of moving or they're being chased by something. Oh, I did have a frick. Oh, I just missed a lake trout messing with my phone. No! That's exactly what I didn't want to happen, but that was to prove my point. Stop on the smelt. Smelt disappear. It means a lake trout's nearby. I was messing with my phone, trying to get it to record and stuff. Looked at my jig, I'm like, oh, that got really, really bright, or more solid. And that's because there was a lake trout on it. And as always, I'm using my little baits. So the 7mm tungsten jig, this thing is tiny because the bait that they're eating is tiny. I have no other, I do have a choice. I could use a gigantic bucktail jig. You get a lot more refusals than you get approvals. So if you want to catch a lot of fish, my bait's the way to go. If you want to catch a bunch of big fish or a few big fish, bucktail's the way to go, right? So I do make larger jigs, of course, and those are all available on my website. And I'm looking for the smallest little bump on the bottom here that looks different. Ideally, the fish should be suspended, but they're not being suspended today for some reason. Probably because they're pushing bait to the bottom. Big old lake trout. It's throwing up. This is where they get off right here. Yeah. Yeah. Spot lock on the smelt, guys. When in doubt, find the smelt. Jeez, fatty. Fatty. Nice Winnipesaukee fatty right there. Gonna put him back right. Look at the gut on that guy, full of smelt. I'm 100% sure he threw up on the way up, and there's smelt all over the place on the screen. Do one of these. And today I'm using the 7mm chartreuse tungsten jig, and then the white Pin Smelt, shortened a little bit. Just helps prevent short strikes. No other reason behind it. Sometimes they're on smaller bait and they'll ignore a full-size one, but this is 2 inch, and probably total right now this is probably 2 inches. So, and you can see, I mean, that wasn't a gigantic lake trout, but he had no hesitation on that. Chased it, slammed it. End of story. So let's putt around and see if we can do that again. That's what we want to do. Find the bait, find the lake trout, drop a jig on them, set the hook. Oh, and net them, of course. We do. Well, thank you folks for watching. It was kind of a grind of a day, but I kind of figured that coming out. I did get a report that my plan B, actually plan C for where I was going to go today, was really good for salmon from shore. But I try not to fish from shore on Lake Winnipesaukee because, one, I have a boat, and two, I like to give everybody else that opportunity so I can just like butt in there and catch fish. But the other harbor is kind of, usually has more bait in it than this one. I didn't see any bait in here today. Maybe one little school of smelt. The amount of perch in here is ridiculous, but we ended up catching a couple of lake trout to start the season off on Winnipesaukee. So I'm happy. Thanks for watching. Make sure you guys subscribe, like, and comment below.